Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
A continuación, Voces en Acción, el programa comunitario que informa a la comunidad latina. Voces en Acción, la verdad en acción. Voices in Action, the truth in action. Now, con ustedes, Jenny Ibarra.
Good afternoon, good day, wherever you are. Thank you for being with us here in Voces en Acción one more time. I'm your host, Jenny Rosales, and I'm glad today. I want to have so much fun today. First of all, before having fun, I have to thank First Financial Bank. I'm serious. They are an amazing bank. They have been with us for since 1900s, and they have been catering our community, helping us grow, and Conroe is growing by the minute right now, and Montgomery and in First Financial Bank is making it so we can go ahead and produce and be able to be exact on our finances. Anything that from is lending us from to buy a house or doing any type of improvements, or at the same time we can do borrow for our schools, for our kids, but they have a plan now, and lately they created, like I have been telling all these months, a plan to help and assist those people that have they don't have a Social Security, and they're in the process of immigration, and they have an ITIN number. Those people are able to get a loan with First Financial Bank to buy a house, if that's what your dream is, to buy your next project for probably his business. They can help you with it. Contact them. It's 936-439-1800, 936-439-1800. And I'm dyslexic right now because I just drank some nice tea that my guest brought me. And we're going to talk to her. Her name is Allison Kartevold. I'm sorry. And we're good friends, but I always have problems with the pronunciation of her last name for some reason. Buenas tardes, buenos días, donde quiera que usted esté. Gracias por estar con nosotros. Hoy estoy súper relajada, súper animada, súper feliz porque básicamente tengo la oportunidad de tener una amiga en el show, una persona que está trabajando con la comunidad y nos está ayudando. Pero antes de eso quiero darles gracias a First Financial Bank por estar con nosotros, por ayudarnos, por asistirnos, por compartir con nosotros estos tiempos donde yo puedo dedicarme a darles a ustedes la información. First Financial Bank está con nosotros en 1900. Están aquí para quedarse, están aquí para ayudarnos, están ayudando a Conroe crecer, están ayudando a todos nosotros a poder tener un mejor financiamiento con nuestra economía. First Financial Bank le ayuda a usted a abrir su cuenta de banco, de savings, lo que usted quiera, préstamos de estudiantiles. Pero principalmente First Financial Bank está ayudando también a aquellas personas que no tienen sino un ITIN number. Ellos no tienen seguros sociales, pero quieren comprar una casa porque tienen el dinero y tienen la habilidad de poder pedir un préstamo. Automáticamente First Financial Bank está haciendo este sueño americano de comprar una casa a los que no tienen pues el seguro social. Contacte a la señora Susie Woods al 936-439-1800, 936-439-1800. Estoy disléctica. Pido disculpas por eso, pero de todos modos me voy a reír porque estoy feliz. Tengo a una amiga, se llama Allison Kartevold, y ella está con nosotros. Ella es dueña de lo que se llama Control City Lifestyle Magazine, y ella es publicadora. Es una periodista de muchos años, reconocida, y está con nosotros para ayudarnos a entender muchas cosas. Primero que todo vamos a hablar sobre el negocio, sobre la vida de ella y sobre lo que está pasando en estos momentos con lo que se llama el sistema de comunicación de todo el mundo, de cómo estamos tan afectados, de que no entendemos la verdad y que creemos que la verdad es verdad y la verdad es mentira. Vamos a hablar sobre eso un poco. Thank you so much for being with me.
It's my pleasure to
You're
come
the type
in.
of person
Yeah.
that I want to like every day just call you and just go out and drink a cup of wine like I did last time and just relax because you understand what we're going through right now. And I really appreciate your commitment towards the community, your
Thank
commitment
you.
towards me, and to but every time I just glow when I see you. You know, we're friends.
You're too nice. Thank you so much. No, it's a pleasure to be here. Of course.
Well, we're gonna start Hispanic people would tend to be very noisy. We want to know who is Allison and what she's doing, and if you're married, if you have family,
Okay.
how do you started this business? What is it that you're doing? What is it that you're catering on? And how can we as Hispanic can help you? And at the same time, how can you get engaged with our community? Because that's the main thing,
Okay.
and getting engaged with business owners that they're wanting to buy a page in your magazine and help promote their business.
Of course. Yeah. So where to start? It's a long and
dangerous
trail.
story.
It's a long trail. So my family moved here in 2020, and we came from Cleveland, Ohio, but that's not where we started from. We started out, my husband and I met at the University of Idaho in Moscow, Idaho. And we-
In Idaho.
in
Wow.
Idaho, yes.
Wow.
That's where our
cool.
story begins.
A lot of potatoes over there, am I right?
Yeah, so we're up in the northern panhandle part of
Idaho.
Idaho. So yeah, 2 states. I like those states with
Those
the
two,
panhandles.
exactly. Uh-huh.
And we were college kids, and we met there and grew up there, both of us.
Exactly.
did. And honestly, it's really kind of funny. We have been all over the country since for his job, and both of us love it here because it's the most like the people, not the topography, but the people are the most like similar. They're the most similar.
To
as
similar,
far, yeah,
okay.
as far as the openness and welcoming and just the way they do business. It's very
Texas
similar.
way.
Yeah, and so we're like love it.
Básicamente, Allison nació y se crió en Idaho, que es donde ella es, del área norte del Panhandle de Idaho, o sea, la ramita de Idaho. Ahí conoció a su esposo, se enamoró, se casó y comenzó a emigrar. Le gusta el lado de los estados por acá. Ella le gusta mucho. Se vino para acá, en el 2020 se vino para acá. Del todo está en Texas porque le gusta Texas. Dice que le gusta esta área de Montgomery, le fascina porque no por lo que es lo físico, lo que podemos ver, sino cómo es la persona, el tejano, cómo es de cálido. Eso es lo que le gusta a ella. Y su historia comenzó desde allá para acá. O sea, you went from Idaho to Illinois.
Oh, so no, not
Okay,
directly.
to Illinois.
So we went from Idaho
Idaho.
to the Portland, Oregon area.
Oregon, and then
to
to
San Francisco,
Francisco.
California, and then to New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. Okay,
and
so
then to Pittsburgh, then to Cleveland, and then
okay,
here.
ella ha estado por todos lados. Esa mujer vino desde Idaho y después vino a Oregon y después subió a San Francisco y de ahí se vio. Ha estado por todos lados de los Estados Unidos. But that's good because you get to know a lot of people and you get to
Yes.
know a lot of things and you're able to understand the love of the American country.
Yeah, we've literally lived now coast to coast and border to border. All the states that we've been to, and all of them have been different, but all of them have been every place has something good
A
about
challenge.
it. And if you want to learn that, if you go in with the attitude of finding what's good about that place, and that's what you'll do.
Dice que ella ha estado básicamente en todos los estados que él ha estado trabajando porque el marido trabaja, él lo mueven. Entonces, ella le dice que lo que ella ha apreciado es que cada estado tiene su uniqueness, su identificación propia, donde si usted quiere hacer lo mejor de su vida en ese estado, lo puede hacer. Y eso es lo que ella ha venido haciendo todos estos años. So you're planning to stay here, am I right?
Yes, we are.
You're
Yeah.
not going anywhere?
Nope.
Okay,
Nope.
that's good.
We're
Because I'm
done.
not going anywhere.
We're done. We're done. Yeah.
Oh, no, you're coming with me to Panama to visit. That's what we're going to
Okay,
do. Yeah.
I can do that. I can go visit other places.
Yeah.
But yeah, we still have family in Idaho.
In Idaho,
and
that's
if I
good.
feel like, it's too hot, I can go visit.
Okay, yeah, exactly. That's
but
good.
no, we are very happy here. Yeah.
Okay. Allison,
Yeah.
the Hispanic community is dear to your heart, and I know that because the way you talk to me, the way I see you, I can feel it. You don't have to just portray. You're honest American girl that loves anybody, not only the Hispanic community, but anybody that is coming from another country, another language, another culture. You're the person that you like to learn other cultures.
Yes.
And
Oh, absolutely.
exactly. And then,
Yes.
of course, the Hispanics are like kind of.
I'm fascinated. I love to just sit here and listen to you translate. And one of the things I want to do is learn more Spanish now that I'm here. So if you have ideas on how conversational, you know, because I have a little bit of dyslexia and learning new language,
dyslexic,
writing
so don't
it,
worry.
and yeah, so yeah, I would love that. I would love to be able to speak more Spanish.
You have traveled the world?
Parts of it.
Parts of it.
I haven't been to Europe. I've done more the Pacific Rim.
Okay.
Because I was, based on the West Coast.
West
and
Coast.
so, and some of it for work.
Yes, sir.
And some for pleasure, but mostly
And
for
you're a
work.
journalist.
Yeah. Well, at heart, I was for many years.
Okay.
I am not acting in that capacity now.
Okay.
But I still.
Do you miss it?
Yes. Yes, I do. I love learning about people.
Exactly.
And I love learning their stories.
Exactly.
And no other business lets you do that. It'd be, you said Hispanic culture is nosy. Well, I guess I am too. I love to learn about people.
Le estoy preguntando porque ella, en la manera de ella, de su censo, de la manera de... Nosotros tenemos un aura, todos tenemos un aura, yo siempre pienso en eso, y la manera de ella es bien una persona con la que usted puede sentir que realmente tiene un corazón grandísimo, que puede amar a muchas personas, que puede amar cada cultura. Ella ha viajado mucho, una persona muy sabia. Ella ha viajado básicamente en el área pacífica, ha viajado a varios lugares refiriéndose al trabajo que ella era, porque ella era periodista. Entonces trabajaba como periodista y le gustaba saber la historia de cada persona. Entonces, como periodista, ella aprendió diferentes culturas y dice que quiere aprender un poquito más español para conversarlo, que ahorita quiere estar con... Digo, I'm gonna teach you Spanish, para tener un poquito más de español conversacional, pero dice que le gusta nuestra cultura y quiere realmente acoplarse con todo, porque le gusta, es una persona muy... En la manera como ella escribe, así in your writing, so the way you write, it makes me feel acquainted with that. I forgot to ask you to bring one of your... do you have you don't have
magazine?
one? Yes, you have a
sure.
magazine. Okay. Ella escribe tan bonito y como periodista, automáticamente podemos ver claramente que el trabajo de ella es profesional. Voy a decirlo claramente, Allison es dueña de una corporación con el nombre de Conroe Lifestyle Magazine. Okay, ella trabaja en esto. Eso es lo que hace. Ella trabaja con esto. Este es el del mes de, ¿cómo se llama? This is April.
Yeah.
El mes de abril.
The crossroads.
Y básicamente ella publica diferentes artículos, trabaja con la comunidad, presenta cosas que hay en el área de Montgomery para que la persona atienda eventos, todo. Negocios que quieran, por lo menos aquí, Power Pro compró la página para sus ¿cómo se llama? Ads, y también tienen de toda clase de cosas, la lista de eventos, todo. Ella tiene un grupo con ella trabajando y eso es lo que ella hace. Y me llamó la atención porque usualmente no tengo ningún tipo de ¿cómo se llama? Revistas que vengan al show para que hablen con nosotros al referente de su trabajo. Y ella como periodista me llamó mucho la atención porque la conocí como parte del grupo de mujeres de pequeñas empresas aquí en Conroe. Y desde ese entonces hablo con ella constantemente. Allison está bien preparada y vamos a hablar ahora sobre lo que está pasando con un poco con lo que es la media, o sea, el sistema de comunicación de todo el mundo y qué nos está afectando y qué no nos está afectando. Pero Allison está tratando también, yo estoy, de promover todos los artículos que ya tengan. How many people are receiving this? Is this something that you can pick up from somewhere, or they can call you and give you the address and you can start mailing it? Do you sell it? What? Can you tell us?
You don't have to buy it.
Okay. No tiene que comprarla.
And it goes into people's homes, but there are about 6,500 homes that it goes into. I also I give some copies to the Chamber of Commerce, so that's if you want to pick them up, that's a central place you can do it.
En las cámaras de comercio.
It's not what they call a stacked magazine. Stacked magazines are in grocery stores and things.
So this will go probably to doctors' offices and things like that.
Yeah, they do.
Okay,
They do.
Okay.
Yeah,
Usted
so but not
probablemente
into grocery stores where you pick them up. That's called a stack magazine.
Conroe City Lifestyle usted lo va a conseguir. Quizás le llegue a su casa, quizás no le llegue, o sea, dependiendo del área donde usted vive. La puede recoger en las cámaras de comercio de aquí del condado. Ellas van a recibirlas, la reciben. Y también la puede ver quizás en la oficina de su doctor o en la oficina de su dentista. Lo puede ver, porque muchos dentistas, muchos doctores, ella pasa el magazine para que vean. Pero vale la pena que en este mundo tan atrajeado no estemos en el internet y tengamos este tipo de cosas.
You can, if they go to the website and send me an email with their address, I can put them on the list.
También, usted se puede meter en el email de ellos, que es www.conroecitylifestyle.com. Automáticamente se mete allí y usted puede sacar y poner su número de teléfono, su dirección, su información, y ella le manda la copia lo imprime mensualmente, ¿ok? Para que usted pueda estar al día con las cosas que pasaron en Conroe y las cosas que que están en el área de Montgomery, eventos, etcétera, etcétera. Y si usted quiere comprar algún tipo de propaganda, I know Miss Gregory, she's an amazing, por lo menos muchas realtors, la señora Lisa Gregory, yo la conozco, ella me ayudó a vender mi casa una vez, y Lisa Gregory le compró a la señora Allison un page completamente de su ad. Lo puede hacer usted si usted lo desea. She sold my house.
Did she?
No.
Oh, yeah, Lisa's
many
great.
years ago.
She saw her last night. She came out to Taste Fest.
Amazing. What makes you? I want to know what makes you
Do this?
Because this is a lot of information that you gather, a lot of work that you put in. Sometimes it's not being paid, but you love your job, and I know that. And you gather so many things and so much information in a short period of time.
Yeah, I couldn't do it without my editor, Margie Taylor.
My mentor. Gotta be Margie.
So yes, because she has invaluable resources. People already know her, where I have to get to know everyone. And so it was very important for me.
I will not
to bring
say anything, but I'm going to say she's the woman with the ace on her arm.
She's a dynamo.
She's amazing. It's not because of being my mentor, and I'm here because of her. I owe her a lot. The same thing at Dick Sisler, our producer. For them, they're my team. You know, they've been in, I think yesterday they asked me, somebody, so how do you feel about working with Dick Sisler? I said, what are you talking about? That man he's my man. After his wife, I'm the second one. I keep telling him.
A work wife?
Yeah, a work wife. Because, see, him and Margie and me, we kind of like, the community means a lot for us.
Yes.
And regardless of what it is, whether it's you're Hispanic or you're American, the community means a lot for us. And seeing you that you're joining us in this venue, and knowing now that Martin working with you, it is amazing. Y estoy hablando sobre quién la ayuda. Resulta ser que la mentor mía, la señora Margie Taylor, es la que está trabajando con ella para editar edita las partes de todos los reportes y tiene historiales muy bonitos, muchas cosas de comida, sobre animales, o sea, safari, mire qué lindo. Búsquela para que le lea a sus hijos. Estamos acostumbrados a tener todo en el internet y no nos damos cuenta de las cosas que están pasando. Margie Taylor, ella se encarga de trabajar y editar esto junto con ella y trabajar en la revista. Si no fuera por Margie Taylor y si no fuera por Dick Sisler, que es mi productor, yo no podría tener la oportunidad de traerle a ustedes la información para que dejen de ver el internet y comiencen a leer las revistas. The main reason is that we're so used of having everything, internet or reading on forums, and we don't want to pick up a book and read.
You know what? It's really funny that you say that, because I just received an email from another publisher, and it was a study that was an article about a study done at Harvard saying that, everything kind of has its time, and everything, what's old is new again.
Exactly.
And there is a resurgence in people wanting, printed things.
We stopped, and I was reading, I'm doing a project for college, and basically it was at the beginnings with Plato was learning from Socrates, and Plato was all up to new ideas and media and Socrates was the old grumpy guy, and Socrates like,
Yes.
You guys, the media is going to damage the whole situation. And I'm like, can you imagine back then?
Yeah.
And now it is happening. Basically,
cycle.
all the internet and stuff, and people have forgotten of picking up a good book or a good magazine and reading an article that will make you say, wow, I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
It's like my 24-year-old. She tells me she has just rediscovered books. She goes, I love to read them. It's kind of like, because the internet is so fast and it moves so fast at us, and this world is moving so quickly, sometimes you just got to unplug and sit down and concentrate on one thing at a time, right?
Exactly.
And let your brain kind of settle and read.
Well,
and she's
thanks,
loving
Laura,
that.
I'm in college, and the books that they're sending me, I'm able to read them because I'm very, not all the time, I cannot be all the time at the computer, but there's so many books, and I just go ahead and ask for the books for the class because it's easier for me to just read a book versus just being in the computer the
Looking
whole
at a
time.
flat screen, yeah.
Exactly. Le digo que estamos olvidándonos de lo básico, estamos tan internetizados, lo voy a poner de esa manera, donde todo es fácil, todo es rápido, y nos estamos olvidando nuevamente del sentimiento de agarrar un libro o agarrar una revista y leer un artículo que pueda que nos llame la atención y que diga, ay, qué interesante saber que esto está escrito y ha sido impreso. Y resulta ser que dice que una de las personas que estaban haciendo una investigación en una de las universidades de los Estados Unidos llegaron a la conclusión de que ya en este momento el ser humano está dándose cuenta que necesita volver a lo que es la imprenta de periódicos, la imprenta de revistas, la imprenta de papeles o de artículos, porque necesitamos sentir que estamos leyendo algo en vez de estar todo el tiempo pegados a la televisión o a la computadora o a la tableta o al celular. Estamos completamente integrados a una máquina que nos dirige mentalmente y células que hasta son dañinas en nuestro cerebro. I'm telling them basically that we're so used to the internet, the cables, everything, the TV, and the waves of the cellular, the waves of the tablet. Those are impacting our brain, and people getting even cancer and getting sick because of that. Instead of reading and going back to
there's some to that. Yeah,
there's some to that, and we cannot blame everything, but there's always
No.
something.
Yeah,
Even walking out right now is risky.
Yeah. A lot of times you just say, "Oh, I'm just gonna stay home."
Okay, Allison, do you
Yes.
have a daughter?
I have two daughters.
Two daughters. Okay, one is 24. You just told me.
Yeah, she's going to turn 24 on May 15th. That's
Baby.
So we're just beginning our birthday month. So my oldest one, all of our birthdays are within 1 month of each other.
Cool.
Every week. So we have every week a birthday, and Mother's Day stuck in the middle of that.
That is so
Yeah,
cool. So
yeah.
you're I
think we're gonna have one birthday for the first time.
You're April, March,
So
April, May.
Mine's May 2nd.
So right close to Mother's Day.
Yeah. So it's like my daughter's is first. It starts off on the 25th. So then it goes, just hers, mine, my other daughter, and then my husband brings up the rear on.
That
he
is
goes,
so
by the time we
cool.
get to mine, everybody's sick of birthdays.
Well, it happens to me the same way. It's so funny. In my household, my daughter and my oldest son, they are a day apart. 4 years.
My dad and I are a day apart.
A day apart, 4 years. And then my middle child was born on his father's birthday.
Oh.
So at this point, it got to a point that all of them celebrated. When it came to my birthday, it was October, and they all were born closely to each other. Two in August and 2 in February. So it's like that's the whole thing.
So I've always said when they were little kids, well, maybe we should just have one party for everybody. And they're, like those little kids are like, no. And this year is the first year they're like, we should do that. We should
Just for
have
the
one
fun of
party.
it.
Just have one party for all of us. So if I do that, I'll invite you.
Le digo que si tiene hijas, tiene 2 hijas, una que va a cumplir 24 años, pero me está diciendo que todas cumplen, toda la familia de ella cumple entre abril y finales de mayo, es la última en mayo, el 2 de mayo, y me dice que es interesante que cuando ya van a celebrar el cumpleaños de ella, todo el mundo está cansado de cumpleaños, porque toda la familia lo ha celebrado, ¿verdad? Le digo yo que es lo mismo en mi familia los dos varones, un varón nació el día del cumpleaños de papá, y mi hija y ¿cómo se llama? Y el varón más grande cumplen 4 años de diferencia, pero un día detrás del otro. Así que simple y sencillamente, cuando me tocaba celebrar mi cumpleaños, me tocaba a mí sola, porque estaban todos celebrando el cumpleaños. Allison, we're going to talk about the issue of the media. I know that promoting your magazine is going to be, for me, something that is going to be from the heart. Because basically, I read the articles in February. I was reading it and I love them. So that means this is going to grow on paper soon.
That's what we hope so. Yep, that's what I can see. After. Mm-hmm.
I'm visualizing that suddenly it's going to be more tech soon, because you're having a lot of people now that they're are approaching you because they feel that eventually you're like Margie, a trustful sources.
Well, I would hope that.
And not only that, and people that are going to go ahead and fight for the community and the rights. Margie is a good example of that, for 7 or 8 years doing this. And then, and I know that, I was hugging her yesterday, and I say, there's somebody that I can trust is her, because I feel that she's my mama. She's able to tell me, hey, Jenny, you're doing this wrong or this right. And it's not only to talk about Margie, but it's just making sure that the partnership between you two is well deserved. It is for the community. We need that.
Yeah, well, that's the reason why you asked me, why did I start it?
Exactly.
Because when I moved, I've moved all over the place, and we came here, two reasons. One, and first and foremost, I wanted to get connected with my community, because this is my home, and now I'm not going to leave. And so always before, when we moved, your kids, if they're in school, that kind of helps you meet some people. But now my kids are grown. Right?
Exactly.
And I'm like, okay, what can I do that's going to help me meet people? That's going to get me out in meeting people in the community. And nothing does it better than this.
Hey, between the Chambers of Commerce, between Montgomery County Women's Association, between going to every single gala, every single you
can't do it all.
You can do it all, but the many,
yes, it's a lot of different things going on. I mean, there's a lot going on in Montgomery County, so. Between Margie and I, we're pretty busy trying to.
Oh, hello! I think that I'm going to every meeting that I can, and I see Margie every time I see her. Oh. I'm like, hello. We see each other all the time because we're in the same meetings.
I'm exhausted. I go, you should be.
Oh, she.
Yeah.
I think I want to ask her one of these days. Did she really sleep? I don't think she really sleep lately. She hasn't sleep
there's
at
some
all.
people who don't need as much sleep than others, and I don't think she needs as much as me.
But then the partnership between you two is amazing. But at the same time, I want to make sure that we start this. I'm going to interview her, and I'm interviewing you now, because you guys saw what was America before in the media and what is America now in the media.
Yeah, it's changed a lot. So when I first started my career, I'm going to date myself. It was in 1989.
Okay.
Vamos
a hablar ahorita sobre el efecto de la comunicación al nivel de los Estados Unidos mediante la televisión, en la radio, todos los medios de comunicación y los podcasts. Vamos a hablar sobre eso porque ella es periodista y yo quería traerla porque ella nos va a dar a nosotros el feedback de lo que está pasando ahorita mismo, de cuando ella comenzó a cuando está pasando ahorita mismo, para que ustedes se den cuenta que también traigo esa información. Okay.
Yeah, so I graduated. My first job was as a nightside weekend reporter in Spokane, Washington.
Spokane, can you Spokane,
at the ABC affiliate, and that was in 88, 89 because I started right.
Okay, 88, 89. I was in college in American University, so I know. Go ahead.
So I did that, and then I actually did documentaries with the PBS station. So
you were working with PBS as well.
through the regional program, I actually got a couple of my stories picked up nationally because I did some on Mount St. Helens. It was a very diverse type of topic, and
exactly.
And that actually, when writing the documentaries, you get to spend more time with the subject matter, and so I would do live shows in the studio every month because I had a show kind of like you. Mine was called At Issue, and it did all the local happenings in the community. And then I got to work on longer, documentaries that would take up to a year or more. And so yeah, Mount St. Helens is one that started me on a journey did several on volcanoes, and I got to travel the world. We went around it's Popocatépetl and Mount Pinatubo, and
so you went all over the place to
watch volcanoes explode.
You went. That's interesting.
So basically what we did was after I did the first documentary on Mount St. Helens, and I was talking to a lot of geologists, I learned that we weren't really prepared for any of our West Coast volcanoes if they erupted.
Okay.
Where the communities are at, and so I went to other communities that had active volcanoes to see how they dealt with it, and to see what types of things I could extrapolate between the two.
Okay.
And so that was the one time I wrote a grant, and the station manager said, you can go as far as that grant takes you. So we did it on a shoestring. I mean, in Mexico City, I got a ride from the Mexico City police in their helicopter. They flew.
Hold on one second. They need to know this. Esta señora es increíble. Ella comenzó en 1988-89 trabajando como periodista en Washington, Spokane, en una de las televisoras allí. Y de allí comenzó a hacer programas con PBS, la Public Service, el sistema público de televisor, que muchos de nosotros en nuestros países todavía lo tenemos, PBS, ¿ok? Y entre ellos tuvo la oportunidad de hacer un programa que se llamaba Mount St. Helens, ¿ok? Que básicamente hablaba sobre los volcanes y las erupciones de los volcanes, y se fue por todos lados del mundo a hablar y ver sobre el efecto de los volcanes y las comunidades, y resultó ser que se dio cuenta de que en los Estados Unidos, en el área volcanosa, donde toda la cordillera, donde están los volcanes, las comunidades que están alrededor de los volcanes no están preparadas en caso de que alguno de los volcanes erupte, pues eruptar el volcán, saca la lava y mata a un montón de gente, porque no hay un tipo de ayuda para esas comunidades. Entonces se fue a estudiar aquellas comunidades que sí tienen ese tipo de ayuda y que saben que cuando viene el volcán o va a eruptar, tienen que irse del pueblo. Ok, se fue a México, y en México dice que la policía agarró el helicóptero, y entonces en eso quedamos. El helicóptero la comienza a llevar por todos el área de los volcanes de México. O sea, you went into the police officers and they gave you a ride in their
no, not exactly. But what I did was I was through the USGS, the U.S. Geological Survey here in the United States. They put me in contact with their counterparts in Mexico.
In Mexico.
And so when I got there with them, we didn't have the money to rent a helicopter.
Exactly.
And so
because your budget was really close.
Yes, very small. And so they arranged for us to ride. It was really funny because when I was a little kid, my parents drove from Michigan. We lived very briefly in Michigan, and my dad, it's like he wanted to go to the Olympics in 1968. So we drove from Michigan all the way down to Mexico City.
Wow.
My entire family. So the 7 of us in the family truckster.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
We drove down and camped along the way until we got to Mexico City. And then my mother had written letters to a family in Mexico that they told us these people are willing to rent you their apartment. So we had no idea where we were staying and what we were doing.
Exactly.
And so we went down and stayed in it. And then when I went back again for the volcano show, the helicopter picked us up in the stadium parking lot. So that's the same stadium parking lot that I went to as a toddler. And I remember that's one of my
so basically you go back to the same
exact same place. I didn't know that when we went down there. This is just, they arranged like, oh, you know what, the helicopter's going to pick you up at the Olympic Stadium. And all I remembered as a little kid is like all of the beautiful mosaics that they had on the outside of the building
Uh-huh.
and walking forever across, bricks, cobblestones.
Exactly.
And I was just amazed by it. I was only, 3 years old, but I remember that. And
Ok, ella está dándome a relucir que el Departamento de Sismología de los Estados Unidos habló con ella y le dijo, ¿sabes qué? Como tienes un préstamo pequeño que tenían, que le habían dado para poder hacer estos estudios, ella le toca ir a México y le dice, bueno, te vamos a poner en contacto con nuestro counterpart, o sea, la persona que está en México trabajando con el sistema de sismología que hay, para que ellos puedan ayudarte y veas los volcanes, pero no tenían la plata para rentar un helicóptero. Entonces, ella se recuerda que cuando estaba joven, en 1968, su papá, su mamá de Michigan manejaron con todos los chiquillos y se fueron todos hasta México. Y llegaron, estaban encampando desde Michigan, todos en cada rato escampaban y paraban y dormían y no sé qué, y seguían hasta México. Cuando llegan a México, llegan a este lugar, en México, donde hay un campo grande y hay unos mosaicos y unas cosas afuera, pero ella se recuerda muy vagamente de eso, claro, estaba muy chiquita. Resulta ser que el helicóptero que le iba a recoger a ella estaba en el mismo lugar donde ella iba llegando después, muchísimos años después, para hacer una investigación sobre lo que son los daños de los volcanes que afectan el área de nuestras cordilleras. Okay, so you went there, you were like, whoof, started taking pictures.
It's funny. It's like, I remember it much bigger. That's
Dice que se acuerda que era como muy grande para ella. Yeah, because you were
I
tiny.
was little. I was like, wow. But that was a very, just a very cool thing to reconnect years later.
Exactly.
And see that.
And have that kind of experiences as a journalist, going everywhere.
Yeah,
Now,
it was fun.
when you got into that aircraft,
Yes.
in that thing, the Mexico has one of the worst areas of, and they're prepared for that. And they keep, people keep going back and living in the same areas that the volcanoes are. I'm not understanding that. Were you able to go to the
oh my gosh.
Popocatépetl? Exactly. You went to
Yes.
the Popocatépetl. Oh,
Yes.
my God.
Yeah, we did, and it actually erupted while we were there. So not when we were flying, and that was the good thing, because the whole time we were flying, we got to fly over and take pictures, because I needed pictures of the volcano aerial because it's a big mountain.
Exactly.
And in Japan, we were able to drive around the mountain we went to in a day because it's a small mountain.
Exactly.
But I needed aerials, in
Exactly.
Mexico and also in the Philippines. And in the Philippines, it was the Air Force. We had the door open on the side of a Huey, and I was holding on to my photographer to get pictures.
Poor you, the poor photographer. Oh my God.
I'm up for anything,
So
man.
you enjoyed your world
I loved
over
my
there.
work.
That's
Yes,
right.
yes, I loved
Ella
it.
le gustó mucho su experiencia. Se va a Popocatépetl y toma las fotos y dice que eruptó el Popocatépetl cuando estuvo en esa área. Claro, cuando estaba volando no pudo tomar las fotos que necesitaba tomar para poder hacer el trabajo. Y dice que le fascinó mucho. Le tocó ir a Japón, y en Japón cuando agarró, dice que en Japón era más fácil porque la montaña, el volcán era mucho más pequeño y en un momento se podía tomar las fotos y estaba ahí. Pero dice que en Filipinas le tocó el avión con la puerta abierta y que tenía que agarrar al camarógrafo para que el camarógrafo tomara las fotos. Y bueno, que fue un relajo increíble. Dice que le gustó muchísimo su experiencia trabajando como periodista y dar este tipo de recursos a la humanidad, porque eso queda grabado. ¿Me explico? I said, you were giving that information to the humanity, basically, because anybody that will see that show will be able to understand what's going on, and at the same time will be do prevention. That's something that,
So yeah, the trick with documentaries is that you have to entertain people,
Exactly.
and that you're educating them at the same time.
Exactly.
And that's, if you can tell a story around it,
Exactly.
then you can.
It's easier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's what I am. The storytelling part.
I want to picture this now,
Yeah.
and I want to say this, and I want to picture now what's going on with media right now.
Okay.
That you have, I'm gonna take a break, but we're gonna go coming back on the second segment. We're gonna go ahead and talk about 2020 till now,
Okay.
or what's going on with the media and how this has impacted you and everybody around us, because not only us, Voy a tomar un break porque vamos a dejar pasar comerciales, pero cuando vengamos vamos a hablar no de 1988-89, vamos a hablar ahorita de 20 al 23. ¿Qué es lo que está pasando con lo que es la producción de lo que es cualquier tipo de documental o cualquier cosa que salga al aire? ¿Qué es lo que está pasando? Y cómo los periodistas no están diciendo lo que tienen que decir. Y tienen que hablar como tienen que hablar. Thank you, sir. You can go ahead and take us in a break and we'll be back. Entre unos minutos venimos. Manténgase al tanto. Hi, this is Jenny with Voces en Accion. Let me talk to you guys about one of our sponsors, First Financial Bank. First Financial Bank can help your dream of becoming a homeowner true. The new affordable mortgage program at First Financial Bank can be a great option for those seeking to achieve this dream for themselves and their families. They are here to help you. For more information, call First Financial Bank at 936-439-1800 and discover how First Financial Bank can help you today. That is 936-439-1800. The American dream is at reach at First Financial Bank. Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC. Hola, les habla Jenny de Voces en Acción y voy a hablar sobre un patrocinador de nosotros, First Financial Bank. First Financial Bank puede ayudar a cualquiera a hacer realidad un sueño de convertirse en propietarios de una casa. El nuevo programa de hipotecas asequibles de First Financial Bank puede ser una gran opción para quienes buscan alcanzar este sueño para ellos y sus familias. Ellos están aquí para ayudarle. Para obtener más información, llame al 936-439-1800 y descubra cómo First Financial Bank puede ayudarle hoy mismo. El número es 936-439-1800. El sueño americano está al alcance en First Financial Bank. Prestamista de vivienda equitativa, miembro FIDC.
Voces en Acción, el programa comunitario que informa a nuestra comunidad latina. Usted puede apoyarnos con su patrocinio, informando, promoviendo y ayudando a nuestra comunidad. ¿Tiene algún comentario? ¿Quiere hablar con nosotros? Podemos escucharle y ayudarle. Llámenos ahora al 832-732-4744. 832-732-4744. Voces en Acción, la verdad en acción. 832-732-4744.
Thank you for holding and being with us still. I really appreciate that. I'm having so much fun, and I didn't want it to stop, but of course I have to continue. Our guest, Miss Allison Kartevold, she's from, of course, Conroe City Lifestyle magazine. She's still with us, and we're talking about so many things, and I'm really appreciating my conversation. And believe me, after this, I'm gonna probably go into a wine room with her because we need to talk. Allison is so wise, and we're able to talk about so many things. And I told you guys that we're gonna be talking now about the media from 2020 now, what's going on, and how she sees, what is her perspective, and that we are not blind. There's people that are really looking into it. There's a lot of media, like, for example, Carrie Lake, one of my favorite ones. She's very straightforward. And there's a lot of media anchors that have just walked away because there's a lot of things going on. But at the same time, it's for us to open our eyes. And I want to open the eyes of the Hispanic community. They're too involved in that black box, and they need to stop it. Tell me, what happened?
With my career, you mean?
No, what happened?
Or in the
world?
With the world. Okay. So, well,
your career, your career keeps going, girl.
That's a big question you're asking, Jenny. I think what you're asking is, has the media changed?
A lot.
And it has. And so when I first started out, I was very wide-eyed and optimistic and believed everything I'd learned in school about not being biased and that...
Stop it there. Estamos con ella nuevamente y se me olvidó traducir en español. Allison está conmigo. Estamos hablando sobre lo que es el efecto de la telecomunicación, radio, televisión, podcast y todo, desde el 2020 hasta la fecha. qué es lo que está pasando en el mundo. Eso es lo que estamos hablando. Ella va a ir de vuelta al tiempo de cuando ella estaba trabajando y qué es lo que fue lo que le pasó a ella para que ella se saliera, como muchas personas, como Carrie Lake, como muchos, Dan Bongino, un montón de ellos se han salido. ¿Por qué? Porque está pasando algo y queremos que usted cierre la caja negra, que es la que tiene la televisión, y comience a averiguar qué es lo que está pasando. Go ahead now.
So I'll just tell you one story. There's always been, as far as bias in the media, it didn't used to be as bad as it is now, but it's always been there. And I'll give you one example.
Okay.
So when I worked at the KXLY affiliate in Spokane, Washington, I told you I worked the weekends. And when I worked the weekends, I came in early and manned the phones before I went out to do my story because there was 4 people doing the news.
Doing the news, exactly.
That
was
had to
it.
do lots
That's
of things,
it, exactly.
Right? And
you act as a receptionist, payroll, do everything at the same time,
Exactly, right.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a phone call, and this phone call happened to be from the owner of all the McDonald's in Spokane, Washington.
Okay.
The franchise owner.
Okay.
And I was like, what are you doing calling me? And he said, I do not want you to do a story about those protesters at the McDonald's. And I said, I was very idealistic. I said, there's a protest at McDonald's?
You were not even aware.
No, it's the weekend. Slow news, man. Let's get that story told. And he's like, I do not want you to do a story. And I said, well, sir, I'm not aware of any story going on. But, if there's 100 people protesting outside McDonald's, we're going to go check it out. I'm calling the station manager. Click. So he hangs up. And I immediately start calling around to see if there's a protest. There wasn't a protest. I don't know where he got his information, but it wasn't even correct. But in the meantime, my phone rings again. Now, I am just above an intern, basically. I mean, I'm on the air. I do.
Yeah, but
stories,
you're nobody. We're nobody. We're no pools. Exactly.
I'm nobody. And the station manager is on the phone.
Oh my God, you're in trouble.
Yeah, and he says, I just got a call from one of our biggest advertisers. What is going on?
Yala.
And so...
you got fired?
No, not yet. But what he said was, he goes, what's going on? And I told him. He goes, well, okay, I still remember his exact words were, if I were in your moccasins, I would not do a story about a protest at McDonald's.
Okay.
And I said, okay, we're not planning on it. There isn't one going on. But I really didn't think it was right for that advertiser to call and try and influence our newsroom that way. That was my mistake.
Because you're telling,
Oh yeah, and I was like, because full of ideas.
Yeah, your day went ballistic with the big guy. Okay, estamos hablando de eso. Ella trabajaba en KXOY en Spokane, Washington. Era la televisora en ese tiempo, en los 1980 y pico, y ella comenzó en ese tiempo allá a hacerlo. Y un día, las emisoras cuando son pequeñas en pequeños pueblos, usualmente la persona que hace la anchor le toca hacer también contestar teléfonos, o le toca hacer payroll, lo que le toca hacer, le toca trabajar, porque eran 4 o 5 personas nada más en la emisora. Y le tocó contestar los teléfonos y llamó uno de los advertisers más grandes que había en ese tiempo, en ese pueblo, que era de la cadena de McDonald's. El señor la llamó y contestó ella y le dijo directamente, yo no quiero que tú hagas ningún tipo de entrevistas o ningún tipo de show referente a la cadena de McDonald's por los protestantes que están en estos momentos afuera, más de 100 de ellos. No quiero que se haga esto, que no quería que saliera al aire ningún show sobre eso. Y ella le dijo, señor, pero a mí no me han dicho nada al respecto y si hay algo así, nosotros tenemos que ir a averiguar qué es lo que está pasando. el hombre le dijo, bueno, no te preocupes, yo voy a hablar con el dueño de la emisora. Así que le tiró el teléfono y automáticamente él fue a hablar con el dueño de la emisora y ella está en el teléfono, fue y averiguó y resultó que no había ninguna protesta, que no había nada. No había nadie afuera del McDonald's, nada haciendo protesta ni nada por el estilo. Resulta ser que en lo que ella está averiguando suena el teléfono y es el dueño de la emisora. Y automáticamente le dijo, señorita, si yo fuera usted y sus mocasines, ¿ok? Se los pongo claramente, usted no va a hacer ningún tipo de entrevista al respecto con lo que se refiere a uno de los más grandes patrocinadores de la emisora, que es McDonald's. No se le ocurra. Y ella le contesta, ok, es que no hay nada en estos momentos, pero ¿por qué? Si supuestamente hay que decir la verdad de lo que está pasando en la emisora. Yo no puedo creer que una persona que sea dueño de McDonald's, o sea, influencie a lo que es la verdad en la emisora. Eso le costó el trabajo prácticamente. O sea, porque ella le estaba diciendo al dueño de la emisora que básicamente él tenía que ser claro con la evidencia y con lo que es la verdad. You're telling him in his face, you're not being clear, you're not being honest, and you need to say the truth if something is happening. So that's why he got offended.
Yeah, he was not happy, to say the least. But the point why I tell that story is to say it's always been there to some degree.
Ok, perfecto.
To some degree.
Dice que esto lo puso como ejemplo para que veamos que el mensaje de comunicación siempre bloqueado, mensaje de comunicación bloqueado, siempre ha existido en los centros de comunicación de la televisión, de la radio y de todo. Los jefes dicen no y tú no puedes sacarlo. O sea, eso siempre existió. So what happened after 2020?
So if you back then, if this had been a story of importance, you would have had the people in charge, not me, you know,
because you were an intern.
I was a newly hired reporter and with no clout, but the news director and the station manager would have gone to head over something like they would have had that conversation. Like if the news director had said that, it would have been listened to and they would have come to terms on how this should be handled.
Exactly.
Okay. So as my career has gone forward, there has been other instances where as companies are back then, so I'm going to jump now to, it was for ABC.
Okay.
And I was in San Francisco. And I felt that the story that they had sent me out on really wasn't a story. And I was able to, even as a freelancer, I was able to call the LA desk and say, this really isn't a story. I don't feel that we should be doing this. And the reason why they were doing it is because it was tied into ABC had just been bought by Disney.
Okay. Go ahead.
Disney was coming out with Pearl Harbor, the movie. And this was a way of them to talk about their movie in primetime news hour.
Wow, which is
so the people at the news desk already had a problem with it. They were not liking it, and then I came back to them and said, "This really isn't a story because this person, you know, it's a long story, so I won't tell that whole thing, but I don't think we should do this." And they went and took the fight and said, "We shouldn't do this. This truly isn't a story. This is manufactured." Because you know the San Francisco police were doing extra patrols, and I was supposed to be covering these extra patrols around the movie theater, and so I asked them, "When are you doing those? When do you want us to?"
Oh, so
I was like, "No, this is not how."
Manipulated completely, exactly.
So, but I got that story killed.
Exactly.
So it did not make
It did not went in.
It did not go on. And that's how it should work, is that when you discover this, it's like, oh, wait, this isn't really
this
what
fake.
you want.
This is not fake news. Exactly.
So if you you might translate that, then I'll move on to the next.
Okay. Ella se fue a trabajar mucho después en San Francisco con ABC. Y ABC había sido comprada por Disney. Disney en San Francisco compró la emisora. Y automáticamente ella trabajaba como reportera independiente, ¿ok? Y había una película que estaba haciendo Disney que era sobre el incidente de Pearl Harbor, y era una película que iba a salir al aire. Y ellos querían que eso fuera en medio de las noticias, en todo Prime, donde está todo el mundo viendo, que saliera el clip sobre la historia de la película que Disney iba a hacer de Pearl Harbor. Y ella investigó la información y básicamente le dijo a la emisora, yo no lo voy a hacer, yo no hago ese tipo de, porque no está siendo verídica la información. Ella investigó todo lo que estaba pasando, preguntó hasta la información de los policías de San Francisco si ellos iban a estar monitoreando el área, y los policías le dijeron, ¿cuándo lo vamos a hacer? ¿Usted quiere que lo hagamos? O sea que básicamente ni siquiera los policías sabían lo que estaba pasando. Era información falsa. Y ella agarró y le dijo a ABC, yo no voy a grabar información falsa y no va a salir al aire. Entonces, ella pudo prevenir eso en ABC. Como sea, la información falsa o verídica tiene que investigarse. El trabajo del periodista es ser neutral y darle a usted a conocer la información y que usted elija la información y tome una idea o una decisión sobre lo que usted va a actuar o cómo usted va a actuar sobre esa información. Los periodistas como ella y como muchos tienen ese deber de hacer, de que cuando la historia sea verídica, se averigüe y se ponga. Cuando la historia no es verídica, no se ponga en el aire, porque puede afectar a muchas personas. And I'm telling them basically what you just said, But at the same time, I told them basically when the information is fake, okay, it shouldn't be in the air.
No.
And when the information is truth, it should be put out. Now, as a journalist, we're supposed to be in the middle. We're not supposed to give our opinion. We're just giving the information so everybody is able to make their own judgment about the information that we provide and get their conclusions. Yeah. But nowadays, it's what's happening.
You go from there to the system actually did work at that point.
At that point.
But then as you go further along, I went further along in my career, the people who knew better started aging out or quitting because they were forced out. Exactly. Because as corporations started buying media companies and saw vertical integration, they saw that stream of information as, ooh, that's very valuable because I can use it to influence people.
Exactly.
On social media, we have influencers. Think about how the news, a credible news source, influences people.
Okay.
It has a lot more clout.
Okay.
Right?
Exactly.
And so, and it can come from things you cover to things you don't cover.
Exactly.
Things you omit. And so as things progress along, you have kids coming into school who has been taught differently. They believe in advocacy journalism.
Oh, so basically they need to make a size. When you're advocating, you're looking for okay, thank you. And we're going to close with that. I'm going to translate with it because you already gave us the answer, basically. Voy a cerrar con lo último que dijo Allison y voy a preguntarle a Allison que nos dé algún tipo de mensaje para la comunidad hispana. Pero básicamente lo que pasa es que a lo que progresó el tiempo de la carrera de ella se dio cuenta que estamos en una dependencia donde en el tiempo de antes se nos enseñaba que el periodista tenía que dar la información sin tener que tomar ningún tipo de lugar. O sea, tenía que ser completamente neutral. Pero ahora los jóvenes están siendo educados de manera de que la información que reciben ellos tienen que coger y dar el lado de ellos, de lo que ellos piensan y atenerse y abocar sobre esa opinión. Y quiero que sepan que es completamente letal. Es algo letal. Esto es letal. Estamos matando gente al dar la información errónea. Por eso siempre digo, la educación viene primero y usted tiene que averiguar los dos lados de la historia antes de comenzar a tomar una decisión sobre lo que usted quiere entender. Y al usted asimilar la información errónea, usted puede hasta hacer daño a otra persona. Eso va en todos los aspectos de la comunicación. Infórmense, lean, investiguen. El Internet, casualmente en vez de tenerlo bonito, investiguen y vean y lleguen a la conclusión. Ustedes han oído, como latinos hemos oído muchas veces cuando dicen, se murió fulanito de tal, y total el hombre no se había muerto. Ha pasado muchas veces que ha pasado eso, ¿ok? Esa es información errónea, ¿ok? Porque mucha gente hasta la toma personal y puede hacer eso. Hay personas que agarraron y dijeron, fulanito de tal dijo que tenía que tomarme esta pastilla porque me iba a mejorar, y tomaron la pastilla y se murieron. Es información letal. Tenemos que saber la verdad, investigarla y darla. Allison, one last wording for the Hispanic community that you would like to give advice.
Advice
Exactly.
on media?
On everything.
Okay, so we're talking media, so I'll stay with that. Listen to all sources and make your own opinion.
Lo que acabo de decir, lo que ella quiere darle a ustedes a entender claramente, siempre escuchen todos los aspectos del tema, busquen y averigüen y después hagan sus propias conclusiones antes de que puedan ustedes tomar una decisión por algo que un periodista que solamente viene repitiendo, porque si usted prende la televisión en un lugar y la televisión en otra, y oiga, se va a dar cuenta que la misma televisión de un lado está diciendo lo mismo que la otra, es repetitivo. Eso llega a nosotros y nos damos cuenta de que ahí hay un problema. Cuando todas las cadenas de televisión están repitiendo la misma información una y otra vez, y se repiten, averigüe la información correctamente, porque ciertamente es falsa. Me despido nuevamente de ustedes. Muchas gracias por estar con nosotros, por permitirme llegar a sus hogares, por respaldarnos a mí como Voces en Acción y a Lone Star Community Radio. Muchísimas gracias por pertenecer a la familia de Voces en Acción. Y nos veremos pronto. Como siempre, mi número de teléfono 832-732-4744 a sus órdenes. Le damos las gracias a la señora Allison por estar con nosotros hoy día. Y ojalá que este programa sea de ayuda. Vea, por favor, Conroe Magazine Series Lifestyle. Agárrela, léala, vea lo que hay allí. Estudie, averigüe y se dará cuenta que hay otro ritmo de vida. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for sponsoring us. Thank you, First Financial Bank, for being part of this program. Thank you, Lone Star Community Radio, for having me one more time in there. And I'm here, your host, to serve you, Jenny Rosales, with Voces en Acción. My phone number, 832-732-4744. Have a good day. See you in the next time. Hi, this is Jenny with Voces en Acción. Let me talk to you guys about one of our sponsors, First Financial Bank. First Financial Bank can help your dream of becoming a homeowner true. The new Affordable Mortgage Program at First Financial Bank can be a great option for those seeking to achieve this dream for themselves and their families. They are here to help you. For more information, call First Financial Bank at 936-439-1800 and discover how First Financial Bank can help you today. That is 936-439-1800. The American Dream is at reach at First Financial Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC. Hola, les habla Jenny de Voces en Acción y voy a hablar sobre un patrocinador de nosotros, First Financial Bank. First Financial Bank puede ayudar a cualquiera a hacer realidad un sueño de convertirse en propietarios de una casa. El nuevo programa de hipotecas asequibles de First Financial Bank puede ser una gran opción para quienes buscan alcanzar este sueño para ellos y sus familias. Ellos están aquí para ayudarle. Para obtener más información, llame al 936-439-1800 y descubra cómo First Financial Bank puede ayudarle hoy mismo. El número es 936-439-1800. El sueño americano está al alcance en First Financial Bank, prestamista de vivienda equitativa, miembro FIDC.
Esto fue Voces en Acción, el programa comunitario que informa a nuestra comunidad latina. Voces en Acción, la verdad en acción. Voices in Action, the truth in action. Hasta nuestra próxima edición.